Woke up this morning and decided to have a real nice dance in the kitchen. I would share the song with you, but I am learning anything I upload that has songs in, I get a copyright warning. Massive learning curve, but I'm currently dancing to Roya Cruz. It's my ultimate favourite right now.
So, I don't know why I just did that. But do you know what's really wonderful? Something that I set an intention with the universe has their back at the end of the first set. It was just before I started this Vlogtober challenge actually, and I set an intention to create content across this month that I was having fun with. And I came across this intention a couple of days ago and I was like, oh my gosh, do you know what? Strangely enough, I set that intention and I just put it to the side. I didn't obsess about it. I just thought I'm going to get what needs to be done every single day in the days that I can, the best way that I can. And I've ended up having so much fun with it. I actually have, because I've learned so much about myself, my limiting beliefs, my thoughts, my actions, my reactions. And in turn, I'm now actually actively speaking about these things to other people. This washing machine is really annoying me, so it's probably not a good time to do this.
During the edit stage, I was able to remove the washing machine sound. Oh my god, I never knew!
I'm going to come back in a minute. Our thoughts are created from our ego mind, and our ego mind is designed to protect us. But sometimes that ego mind, well, a lot of the time for me, can end up being the source of our deepest pain. The thing is with thoughts and perceptions, these grow from environments, from our upbringing, from family and friends, like I mentioned yesterday. So we need to be compassionate with ourselves. Our minds are essentially innocent in the process of all of this. All our ego has ever been trying to do is to protect us. But in order to do that, it then puts a block in the way. It stops us from going to that next sort of step of freedom, because it tries to keep you stuck in familiarity, to keep you safe. And sometimes, in worst case scenarios, being stuck in familiarity means that you're going to start being addicted to those, feelings of suffering and feelings of anger, and then essentially causing more in your life because that's all you've ever known. Be compassionate with yourself, because everything you've learned growing up in a world that was none the wiser. And the same for your parents or people around you, people that have hurt you. Just remember that hurt people hurt other people. And it isn't until you open up to start healing that you are then able to help heal other people. So find that compassion. I'm not saying let the people that have hurt you back into your life. I'm just saying find some compassion that maybe they was reacting from where they were capable of reacting from in that time. It's only when we start to realise and do this work ourselves that we're able to step back and go, oh, okay, I can see. Sometimes you might never understand, depending on how traumatic the experience is. But someone said to me years ago, it's not about the understanding, it's about letting go. Because you are not that way inclined, so you wouldn't be able to understand why they did the things that they do. Have compassion for yourself and compassion for others in order to allow yourself to become free from the thoughts that do try to keep you stuck and keep you trapped. This book really, really helps actually. I'm listening to it as an audible. Thought I'd change it up a little bit because I normally do read books. Sorry, a neighbour walked past and they caught my eye then. Hello, neighbour. Can't hear me, thank God. But there we go. I'm judging myself now, thinking that they probably think that I'm just being silly, or, oh, what is she up to? Sat there with a massive ring light blinding her. It doesn't matter what other people think. It really doesn't matter. The main thing is that you're true to yourself. You're living the life that you really want by the values that you really deeply believe. And sometimes we do have to question whether those values actually serve us anymore. There's things that we might have believed when we was younger that we have carried off into our adulthood that now actually it doesn't serve us. It doesn't make sense to be that way anymore. And that's okay. Accept it. Allow it to come in. Feel it. Notice what is arising within you. What is the trigger? I absolutely love how this Audible has broke this down actually. So the example that I have here is trigger, anxiety is rising. Rooted programmed belief. I believe the worst case scenario is going to happen to me. I've been hurt in the past, and now I'm assuming I will get hurt again. The theme of consciousness that's happened here, most of this is coming from distrust. It then actually goes on to recommend ways of healing. Let me just find it because I did write it down. Here it is. So when this occurs, there could be a new narrative that you create in your mind, because it's all about replacing the old beliefs with new programs. So the new narrative for this example is, it is also possible that the best case scenario can happen. My past does not define me. I will always be okay. And I'm always being guided. All setbacks are working out for me in the long run. I trust and believe in the goodness of life and that anything is possible for me. When you look at those two versus each other, which one looks nicer? Which one feels nicer? Which one do you want to live by? You have to start asking yourself these questions and really bringing your awareness to it. That is step one. Bring your awareness to the thoughts that you are having on a daily basis through certain situations. When you get triggered, start going deep. Why was I just triggered? What was it that just triggered me? So I'll have an example for you. I have certain things that trigger me. I'm a mother of two boys, and I have dads to my children. Now, sometimes we disagree in certain ways of parenting our children, and that's because they're in one place and I'm in another place. A lot of the time, I get very frustrated and annoyed, and I think, well, you should be behaving this way, you should be acting this way. And I dare say they probably feel the same way about me too. But what I'm starting to learn is that we are only ever doing the best of what we can from where we are at. I need to let go of judgment, because that judgment is then just putting so much guilt and shame into my life and then reflecting on theirs. We have to really start looking at these things and being honest with ourselves. How do I react to that situation? Do I react to make that situation worse? It's like adding fuel to a flame. Or do I step back, accept that, okay, I've just been triggered, but it's something that's out of my control? And that doesn't mean to say that's me doing that. That's somebody else behaving and acting from where they're at in their life. I can choose to behave and react in response to this with love and compassion. And maybe you can help advise people. Maybe you can find nicer ways of saying, I don't agree with that, but maybe we could do this moving forward. Finding a compromise. And it's not easy. It really isn't easy. Using the example that I've just used, I'm a single mum and I'm raising my kids, and I try every single day to do the best that I can do. And I know that their dads do as well. But it's only taken me, it's taken me years. Honestly, it has. It's taken me years to get to that point where I'm not so triggered by certain things, and not just that kind of relationship. There's other things that also happen. So for example, I was in the shop the other day, and like Uber Eats, it just goes through constantly, goes through and through, and it was doing my head in. I was like, oh my god, I'm so glad I don't work here, because that would drive me up the wall. But I got to the till, and the lady at the till turned around and went, I didn't say anything, by the way, she literally just turned around and looked at me and went, oh, I should bloody just give up my job, go and sit at home, be on benefits, and order food. That was so judgmental. And it really, really triggered me because I became defensive. So I'm on benefits, but I also work, bit of both, and I have a passion to work. Now, this does include the people that don't want to do anything with their life, but maybe they're just not ready yet. But she was judging someone on the other end of the phone that she didn't even know. This person who could be ordering in this food may have a broken leg and they can't go to work for 6 months, for all she knows. It might not even be somebody who's on benefits. It really made me feel small. I don't think she realised, because I didn't say anything at the time, because I was on my way to get the train to something really important for me. But it was afterwards that I could feel the tension in my jaw, and I rang my best friend straight away and I was like, oh, this has really annoyed me. It's really got to me. And I did feel really defensive. And I allowed her perspective and her opinion to influence my mood. So that's also something interesting, is how we actually allow other people's actions and behaviours to influence how we are. That's something that I pick up on a lot. Like, I can walk into a room, if I walk into a room of angry people, no doubt within a few minutes I'm angry. I pick it up straight away. If I walk into a room of all calm and collected people, I too am calm and collective. A lot of people say that I'm an empath, and that's why I pick up on this so easily. But something that I'm having to learn is to not allow exterior circumstances, exterior situations that happen around me that aren't in my control, to influence how I feel. And that's not easy. But I'm willing to do the work to find out why I'm being triggered and what the general root belief is. So my general root belief at the bottom of this is that I have a fear that I won't be a good enough parent to my kids. And because I have that fear, any situation that I feel jeopardizes the way that I'm raising them, or would influence them in a negative way, I immediately become defensive. I immediately get angry and frustrated, because I think, well, how can I protect them from this? This isn't something that I can control. This isn't coming from me. But that was the deepest root for me, that fear of not being a good enough parent to my kids. But turning that narrative and going, you are an amazing mum. Look at your children. They are happy, they are fed. 10 times out of 10, when they go off to visit family and friends, they come back and I'm told how polite they've been. All right, sometimes I do get told that one of them's been mouthy or the other one's been a bit whingy, but that's the stages of development that they're in. I don't know if any parents are listening, but 8-year-olds I feel have a lot to moan about, and 12 to 13-year-olds just hate the world and have very strong opinions. So this is where they're at in their development, and it's looking at them from an innocent perspective. We only know what we are taught until we can reteach ourselves. Guys, if you want to reprogram yourself, have a look at this Audible. It's really empowering, and it's said so simply that you can understand it. It gets you to go through the practices, asking yourself the questions. I've got another one here for you that it gives another example that I relate to, actually. So this one is about craving. Where is it? Lost it. This other example is about craving arising. Now, I work with a lot of this because I'm a stop smoking specialist and I've been there myself before. So I know that these cravings do arise. Even 5 years down the line, I do still get tempted. Craving arising, the root program belief. I believe I will only be satisfied. I believe I will only be satisfied once I get what I want in my past. Oh, right. So scrap that. We're going to reread that. I should have put a full stop. So the next example that I have is from the Audible again. It's the trigger is craving is arising. And the root program belief is I believe I will only be satisfied once I get what I want. In my past, I coped with my vulnerabilities by indulging in food, smoking, alcohol, sex, drugs, and now assuming that they are the source of my confidence. Now, I relate to some of the things that was mentioned there, not all of them, but some of them I do definitely relate to. And I'm learning to see that those cravings do arise, especially in times that I have a triggering moment. And it makes sense to me now. It's because I want to try and use that as a tool to cope, to make me feel confident again. But I don't need that. All of that has to come from within. And all of that absolutely can come from within. The theme of the consciousness here is that must be a feeling of inadequacy. So, not feeling that you are good enough. When you look at the new narrative example of how you can overcome this, the new narrative is what I desire is actually within me. I am tired of my desires controlling my mood. I'm ready to make a change and I will break free of this. I am free. I am whole and I am complete and I am disciplined over my impulses. When you start to create these new narratives, you do need to repeat them. You need to go over and over and over. It's like anything. If you want to master something, if you want to get good at something, it takes practice. This kind of work isn't something that you can just do once and then expect everything to be healed. That's naive thinking. That's also the ego trying to draw you back to familiarity, draw you back to that comfort zone. You've got to do it on a daily practice. Even smallest changes. Start by bringing awareness. Then start by assessing the trigger. What is the trigger trying to tell you? What is the root belief? And then start to let go. And let go with compassion and a strong new narrative to restore that program. Keep practicing, and then it will eventually become second nature.
Time to go to work. Woo-hoo-hoo. Christmas tree. Even the toilet roll's got bows on it.
Now it's time to chill out.